Hey guys, what's going on? Tony here, CCxRC, and on the bench I have the Traxxas HOSS 4x4 VXL. Comes in both the green and blue variation that you see on the front, or the orange and the purple. I opted for the green and the blue. I looked at them both, I like them both. They had them available at my hobby town in Virginia Beach, and I could have chosen either one. And I just went for the green and blue. You guys know I do a lot of green stuff around here, so I just went with what I know. They both look really good. So this is running a 3S system in it, VXL, but it has like a special 540XL motor in it, so it's a little bit longer. So that's interesting. It's also got a fan now on that VXL system, so hopefully it'll make it run a little cooler. And a couple of other upgrades that they have on this versus the older Stampede, but it's not quite the max. It's kind of in the middle for their 1/10 scale monster trucks. So we're gonna go ahead and unbox it for you guys, show you what you get for the $469 that you pay for this thing. That's what I paid locally. Says it goes 60 miles per hour if you get the optional gear to do that. That's more speed than I need for one of these size monster trucks anyway. And guys, the way that I do these videos is we'll unbox it for you here. We'll do a different video where I show you the speed, and then we'll also have one where we do some bashing. But I'm excited about it. I got into the hobby on this right here. It's the Stampede two-wheel drive Traxxas monster truck. 7 years ago, I bought that thing. Amazing. And got me all into the hobby, and so everything's just kind of gone upward from there. Several Traxxas along the way, and the X-Max. I've got the Max. I've got a Slash. We've got the Fortec. We had the TRX4. So pretty familiar with the Traxxas lineup, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what they've done with this HOSS, and what I've seen so far looks pretty good. So I'm really interested in that bunny hop or ollie feature that I saw them using in their video. So let's go ahead and unbox this thing and see what we get. Alrighty guys, I have not done any sneak peeking in this thing. It is still factory sealed. And we're gonna go ahead and open it up. As you can see here, it talks about how you get the different speeds from this thing with the HOSS right out of the box, depending on the LiPo battery you use. It says on 3S with the 1454 gearing that you're gonna get about 40 plus miles per hour. That is about all I need from a monster truck. You can change the gearing. They show you how. You can pause it and take a look at this. I'll zoom in for you so you can take a quick screen pause and see what those are. But I don't need it to go that fast. Here it shows you the different colors, some of the different features that it has here. Again, you can choose to pause this if you want. It has an integrated receiver box, which is new. We talked about that at the store. The integrated wheelie bar as well. Torque biasing, center drive with steel spur gear. That's a nice plus. Sledgehammer tires and the Ultra Shocks with linear springs. So let's go ahead and let's just open this up and see what we get. The packaging on this is very nice. Opening it up, you get the radio comes out first thing. These are really quality radios. You get a lot of features with these things. The problem is that you do have to use menus and sets in order to get through all the different ones. They don't have multiple knobs. You have to kind of either memorize the different steps that you have to get through with the flashing, or yeah. Foam wheel, they feel really good. No visible antenna really, and so very, very nice. Take 4 AA batteries, on-off switch here at the bottom. I don't love where this is placed. I don't know, there's something about where this is ergonomically I don't love, but overall they perform well, and with all my Traxxas, I honestly just run these radios. So you get used to it. This actually feels very good. The throttle and the brake. So yeah, I just can't one-handed drive it for the life of me. It's just a little bit further up and away than I'm used to down here. So that's the only thing. But very good radio. You can get a Bluetooth link for it here that lets you plug it into your phone and get a whole bunch more features, so you don't have to use these menus and set buttons. But they're very quality. Great range with them, all of that. So Man, their cars just roll right out of these boxes so smoothly. Packaged very well. These have the one clip system here, which is nice for their bodies to slide off. No pins to worry about. Love it or hate it. I actually really love it. Sometimes with the X-Max, I did have problems where I'd hit really hard and it would pop off. I don't really have that problem as much with my Max. So, take it or leave it. That's kind of how I feel about it. But I do really like this system. The body for me, it's got weighting from this cage that it has. It does make it a little bit more tricky if you want to get aftermarket bodies, having to move all of this over to it. But it does have nice bracing on the bumper here with plastic. It's got skid guards on the top. You can see where it's molded into here. And yeah, I like these new clips that they've got. Basically like huge washers molded into the body so they don't pull through like my old X-Max did. I had the original X-Max. I ordered it when it first came out. So I got one of the first ones. Not the first ones, because they were having problems with the ESCs, and so they held the release a little bit of some of them. And so when that second batch came out in January after Christmas, I got mine. But the suspension on this feels very good. Let's quickly look through the baggie of things that you do get with this vehicle, and then we'll get to looking at the car. You do get some spring retainers here, a couple of pistons for your shocks, looks like a couple of little spacers, and you got several of these. So these are, you know, for your 4 different shocks. Which means that we don't have threaded shock bodies, which is kind of a bummer, because you do have these preload spacers, which honestly I almost never use. If a shock comes with these, I never touch my shocks. I don't know why I'm so averse to using these, but that's what happens for me personally. You may use them, and that's good for you. I mean, you get to tune it your way. You do have these nice wrenches that come with it as well. And you got a 4mm and 8mm, and then you've got your wheel nut wrench and some hexes in here. Looks like a 1.5, 2, and 2.5mm wrenches in there. Some stickers. It's a warranty probably. Yes, warranty registration. And they always give you some nice books that kind of show you their whole setup here of stuff that you can get. And then you've got your quick start guide, which you'll want to go through this if you haven't used these before, just to know how to operate the vehicle. You should know that these do not come with batteries. Here's a little bit about the radio stuff. And you get quite a bit of paperwork with this, which is nice. But this is what you all have come to see. Right here, the Hoss. Again, the suspension feels very good on this thing. These new Sledgehammer tires look very good. They're very hard, very stiff. Like these lugs on here, just, you know, a lot of these you'd have a little bit of more flex sideways. You have some in and out, but it's a really stiff tire, and the rubber itself feels like just a really, it's not a soft rubber. So hopefully that means that they will last. What it does also mean is that they're probably not going to expand at all as you get centrifugal force for doing flips and things like that to aid you in getting around. It may make up for that in wheel speed. We may not need it. It is not a very big truck. It is about the size of a Stampede, but it does wheelbase wise match the Rustler 4x4, and so that's something that you can look at. It definitely sits higher because it's got under here all of these raised pieces that bring it down from the chassis. This chassis is not a Rustler chassis, though it kind of looked like one of them from the 4x4. This is new to the Hoss, but it very much mimics some of their old chassis, which, you know, have been very durable and have stood the test of time, which is a good thing. It does have like a blacked out chrome style rim in here. They look good. Overall, I think the tires look good. I think that overall the truck looks good. I like the body styling and shape. I am not a fan of the paint jobs on these. They just, you know, nobody would paint their truck to look like this. Even race trucks don't really look like this. I don't know what or where they get their paint scheme ideas from, because in real world applications you don't really see anything like this. It's different, it's eye-catching in a way, but I really had a hard time choosing between the two because I honestly didn't care for either of them. I liked the orange pop, but I didn't like the purple and the way that it made the gray look, and so I ended up going with this brighter, lighter feel of this car is kind of what I went for. But overall, I mean, it's a stock body. You can change this out. You can paint your own. They have clear stuff you can get. It's not the end of the world. Their clip system is fantastic. This was one of those things that when it first came out, I said was game-changing. Thinking outside the box, I really dig it. Flip this up, lift, and then pull back and slide it off. And what they do is they have these hooks. This one slides up underneath the front shock tower here, and this back one grabs onto it when you basically clip it in. You can see it lock right onto that rear. Very cool design. I like it. Every once in a while it does pop off, but it's not too bad. The body is pretty flimsy, pretty thin Lexan, which is why it does have reinforcements. I will say I hope that it does hold up better than my Max body, which has completely crumpled and broke. And this is what happens with these little guards. It kind of gets chewed up on there. The whole front end's kind of broken away. It's just kind of a flimsy plastic, and so I hope, even though this one's kind of got the same bracing and stuff, I hope it does hold up better than this. Got an attention here telling you about the tips for setting up the voltage detection. It's been disabled for use with Nimpacks out of the gate, so we do need to turn on and change this over so that it will work with our lipos and do the easy cutoff for that, which is a very simple process to do. And yeah, so with a low voltage, all we have to do is press and hold the easy set button, and after 10 seconds the motor will sound and it will shine green instead of red. So there you go. Very simple to do. Looking in here at the chassis, you do see they've got some of this honeycomb in here, extra rigidity, really thick. All of this is nice, thick plastic, very, very rigid, and I really do like that about it. It does have this battery tray that can flip around for doing different size packs on it. But you flip this down here, there's a little lever, and that'll let this get locked into place, push down on it, slide out. Any car that has this kind of thing, whether low-C, Traxxas, whatever, I'm not a fan. I prefer Velcro. And I know that they say this is faster, easier, but batteries come in different sizes, from soft packs to hard packs. And I don't like wedging stuff under here to hold it tight. With Velcro, I just strap it on there. And so that's not a negative to Traxxas. A lot of people do this. I 100% prefer Velcro straps. Maybe I'm old school. You can see up here they have molded this. You used to have a whole tray and container that would hold your receiver. Well, with this now, it's actually molded into the chassis, and all you have is the top of it. So that's pretty cool. Underneath here, there's a clear guard, and it's got a metal drive shaft running from the rear to the front. You can also see this 540 XL can. It is definitely like the 540 style, but it's longer. And so these are supposed to be really, really torquey vehicles. And because of that, I was also told to get some extra drive shafts. So I did buy extra drive shaft when I got this, because we have talked about the drive shafts on this. And as I bring it around the front here, you can see they are kind of a light gray. They're newer HD heavy duty drive shafts. But a buddy of mine said that they broke several of them in their first couple runs with this, doing the bunny hops and some of that stuff. So we'll see how they hold up. I hate to go based off of what somebody else says, but I want to be prepared since I live quite a ways from Hobby Town. If something breaks, I don't want to have to drive down there. So I thought I'll be smart and I'll just get some extra ones. It does have adjustable turnbuckles here for your toe and your camber. Plastic arms on the bottom here. You can see them a little bit easier. You can see where your servo is down here. That seems pretty guarded. I like how easy it is. It's very accessible. So many cars pack up underneath a whole bunch of things right up here in the top, and to get to all of your steering stuff is really, really difficult. Well, putting it on the bottom like Traxxas has done here may expose it to some things, maybe twigs and stuff getting it, but I mean most of it should brush past from this skid plate here in the front. But I do like that. So it's got a Traxxas 2075 servo. You can see the drive shaft coming out here as well. The plastic, it looks like a Slash chassis, but it is not. It is not a Rustler chassis. It is kind of its own thing. It does have these little like rock slider guards here, but they're really to hold the body in. And it doesn't work well on the Max, and I've heard it doesn't work well on here. I think RC Driver said his didn't work super great. I think one of the biggest complaints for me is that at this price point of $470, that we do have plastic shocks, and actually the shock retainer here is off the plastic rod end there. They do have plastic shock bodies, plastic shock tops. These are nicer shock tops than some of the other ones. The bumper feels pretty good. It does have some flex to it. It's not too rigid. There's no bracing up at the top here, so it should flex, which is good. But going back to these shocks, they're just plastic, and you have to use the shock spacers for the preload, and that's just at $480. That's shocking. Many cars at that price point would have threaded shock bodies, and most of them would be aluminum. So that's a tough pill to swallow for me right there. You do have right here your VXL 3S waterproof ESC. All of this is waterproof, and it does have a fan on it. If it's like the Max fans, I will probably break all of these fins off of it very fast. None of my fans in my Max are actually on it anymore. They've busted off or completely busted out off of there. It is running their Traxxas ID connectors, so it works really well with their batteries. I'll use adapters. I'm not going to cut anything off here. The Venom batteries and stuff like that have their XT60s to a Traxxas plug I'll use. Doesn't work for charging, things like that, but it will let it run the car easily off of this. Plastic shock towers, front and rear. Lots of plastic. They do have this kind of molded bumper and wheelie bar. Those feel like they have bearings in them. They're very smooth wheelie bar. And one of the cool things that they did show with this in the videos was using that to kick it up and do like a bunny hop off it, which was really cool. So you've got your bumper and your wheelie bar here that are integrated together pretty well. Rear, same kind of shocks. You have the adjustable turnbuckles up top and the same style drive shafts. So I think overall we kind of looked over most of this. At this point it's going to be running it, seeing how it handles. And I really do think that this suspension is going to make it really nice because it really sticks. Take it even higher. Yeah, it's really nice looking. Very plush. It will bottom out, but I'm okay with it bottoming out in the rear. maybe in the front too. But that, you guys, is a look at this. I try to be completely unbiased as much as I can. You know, I'm like you guys, spend a lot of money on these things. And so, you know, there's certain things that I want to see in these cars, you know, dropping the money on it. And this one definitely comes in up there for a 1/10 scale monster truck. It is a pretty high price point. When you look at the Max, which is a little bit bigger, you can kind of see without the body on, the wheels are bigger, tires are bigger, a little bit longer stance, and this thing was already a little bit tough to control, but you got this really huge molded chassis, 4S. You have a bigger servo. This is the same servo they use in the X-Max. The shocks are massive on it. You can see I removed the battery tray on this and put my Velcro in. But this fan is still here. It doesn't have any blades on it. The other fan is off of this, kicking around somewhere here in the office. But all the fans busted out of it as well. Just stuff gets in there, breaks it all up, rocks, stones. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, do you just save the extra and get this? But this is a little bit unwieldy unless you get the wide kit, which I've done with this one. So really, with the Max, you're probably looking more at $640, somewhere in there, with the wide kit on it. Here's the body, just to give you kind of a frame of reference, how much longer that one is. Yeah, it's one of those question marks for me with the pricing. So they've put probably a lot of that money in here because they put so much into it with the radio. You got costs here with the receiver that they use in these, which are very nice systems. Necessary for this on a 3S at the speed it goes. Do I need it to do TSM? Which is their Traxxas stability management, which this has. It also has the self-righting feature, which I haven't mentioned. But if you crash it and it lands on its lid, you hold the button here for like 3 seconds or whatever, and it starts rocking, gets those wheels spinning, and then it'll actually stand it up and back on its wheels. Would I have rather had the price break and had this come in at a lower price point and not had that feature? That's a tough call. I don't use that feature a lot anyway. Some people do. I choose not to. It's just a lot of hard on-off on your gears. Speaking of the gears, one thing I didn't mention here is also with the drivetrain. You do have a metal drivetrain. You've got steel spur gear. You've got metal gears in the diff. It does have plastic drives, though, drive shafts coming out to your wheels. And so you do have some upgrades there, so that's cost. You've got these nicer wheels on here as well, tires, the sledgehammer tires. And so they've put the money into it. The question is, could they have made this thing as nice as it is with the newer motor and all that, but brought the price down in some places? That's my question mark for it. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up here on the HOSS. We gave you some pros and some cons, so the good, the bad. And I think overall it does well. I think it's going to handle well. You know, my only real question mark with it is the price point. And, you know, if you feel like you want to spend that much for it, then go for it. Because if it handles well, which I don't know yet until I drive it, but if it handles well, then, you know, it doesn't matter the price as long as you get the enjoyment out of it. There's part availability already for it, and so that's a good thing because, you know, Traxxas does use a lot of these parts in their other vehicles. And so that's a bonus. My main hope is that this kind of fills that void that I hoped that the Max would fill. But I've kind of, you know, it's a very durable car. The Max was very durable for me, but I did not love driving it. I didn't like it rolling over. I didn't like how it handled. It wasn't like the X-Max experience for me, or even my Stampede two-wheel drive experience for me. And so I kind of felt a little let down by its performance, especially with the price and the lights dying, you know, second run in, because the body literally just cut the wires the way that it's designed. So I wasn't, you know, I had a lot of things that I was very negative on that about. But this, I mean, since it's kind of taking that styling from the Stampede, if the diffs hold up well, the drive shafts hold up, It feels like it's going to be a really good truck, and 3S power feels good. And I actually think that I like the Max more on 3S, though I was always tempted to drive it on 4S because it was rated for 4S. And so that's probably a lot of the handling that I did not like about it, was that I was just overpowering it, and that tends to be what everybody, wants these days, is more power, more power. And at some point, I feel like it actually takes away from the experience, in my opinion. You guys can love to do it how you want, but I feel like certain vehicles, the size, the wheelbase, all of that, too much power makes it too unwieldy, and you're not really in control of it anymore. And what fun is that if you're just literally pulling a stick and it does whatever it wants to do? So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of this Hoss. Is it something you would buy or not? Why? Why not? Any of that. It's just really, we're having a discussion about these things. That's what this channel is all about. Anyway, guys, that's it. Have fun RCing, and we will catch you in the next video. See ya.